Okay, our objective today is to review and practice graphing linear functions. So I want to start with a couple questions from yesterday's quiz that you had in class. So who can raise their hand and tell us what is standard form? Start there. What is standard form? I'm just going to throw these out to you because you're going to have these on your quiz next week, Marion. Good. AX plus BY equals C. Okay, who can tell us A and B cannot be what? A and B cannot be, Lauren? Good. Good. Fractions or decimals. A cannot be negative. Good. Okay, who can tell us by raising your hand what is slope-intercept form? Lyra. Good job. Y equals mx plus b. In slope-intercept form, m has to be what? M, John, has to be the slope. So m has to be what? You're thinking of standard form. The slope has to be a fraction. The y-intercept, if it does appear as a fraction, how should you write it? Something over 1 or, John, a decimal. So depending on what it is. The y-intercept always keep as a decimal. Okay? All right. In a scenario, what does the slope represent? In a scenario, what does slope represent? Marion. Nope, that's the y-intercept. Jackie? Awesome. Rate of change. In a scenario, I want you guys all to put that in your long-term memory. In a scenario, the slope is the rate of change. Guarantee that'll be on your pop quiz next week. Slope is the rate of change. When you're graphing, what does slope represent? When you're graphing, what does slope represent? This one should be easier. Lauren? Good. Rise over run or? Good, Trevor. Change of y over change of x. Okay, how do you write the y-intercept as an ordered pair? That was a little confusing one yesterday. How do you write the y-intercept as an ordered pair? Chloe? Good. 0, comma b or 0, comma y-intercept. Good. Okay, that's all I wanted to ask you. Do you have any questions for me on any of those questions from yesterday? I still have them. I'm not putting them in the grade book, but I want to look at them one more time to make sure that I'm reviewing properly with each of the classes. Okay. All right, let's go over homework, and then we'll go to our white packet. All right, so on the graphing homework, this is the this is the bank puzzle. So it was the first puzzle, the loan arranger one, thank you. Number 1 is M is 2/3, B is 0, 1. Make sure your graph looks like mine. Number 2, M is 1/2, B is 0, -3. Make sure your graph looks like mine. Number 3, M is -3/4, B is 0, 2. Make sure your graph looks like mine. Number 4, M is 2/1, B is 0, -4. Check your graph. Number 5, M is -3/1, B is 0, -1. Check your graph. Number 6, M is -3/2, B is 0, 3. Check your graph. So on those 6, anything that you need me to go into more detail with, explain how to graph? Okay, 7, 8, and 9. Number 7 is this M is 4/1, B is 0, -2. Number 8, M is -1/4, B is 0, 2. And again, my graphs are up there. Number 9, M is 5/3, B is 0, 0. And the answer to that was the loan arranger. But you didn't have to do that. Haha, right? Any questions on any of the graphs? Okay, let's go over to the poor man coffee puzzle. The poor man coffee puzzle. I'm going to read slope-intercept form for you and then check your graphs. So number 1, y equals 3/2x plus 1. Number 2, y equals 1/4 x minus 2. Number 3, y equals -2x minus 3. Number 4, y equals -2/3 x plus 2. Number 5, y equals 3x minus 1. Number 6, y equals -3/5x minus 2. So please check those. Some of you had trouble putting these into y equals form. So is there anything on there that you need me to solve for you? You need me to explain the graph, Lauren? You did. I wanted you to. I just didn't read all of it. I figure if I read the y equals part, hopefully you guys know M is always next to x, B is by itself. No questions? Okay, 7, 8, and 9. 7 is y equals -4/3 x. Number 8 is y equals x plus 2.5, or 5 over 2. But again, I prefer that you keep this as a decimal. This one was a little bit annoying because you had to start at 2.5, so it was right in the middle here. And then you went up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. Kind of annoying, but it works. And then number 9 you did not have to do, but Miss Wingrove will be teaching that to you in about 2 weeks. So you'll learn it eventually. So why does the poor man drink coffee? He has no property. Do you guys understand the two meanings of that? He doesn't have any land as in property, but he also doesn't have any proper tea, like tea that you drink. So since he doesn't have tea, he drinks coffee. I don't know, these are supposed to be funny, but it has nothing to do with math, right? I don't understand that part of it. Chloe, you okay? Okay. All right, any questions on any of the graphs? So you can tell that joke to everyone today, right? Did you guys have Mr. Yoler last year? He used to do a lot of these. Were any of his like more funny than this one? They're all the same. They are pretty dumb. I agree. All right, so you can put that away. We are going to start with the white packet. We are back to this really thin paper. I don't know why. It's not my fault, I promise. Reprographics just decides to use thin paper. Trevor, don't say that. Not very nice. I can hear really well still. You know, I'm not that old. So don't say that. That's not very nice. I heard that. Oh, I gave you too many. Chloe's just sitting here minding her own business. Anyone going to the St. Patty's Day parade tomorrow? Oh, cool. It is tissue paper. I agree, and it drives me crazy, but we have to deal with it. All right, put your name on the white packet. So what is this? Why do we have another packet? Instead of using the notes, this packet has much more room. To me, it's more organized, and I think it'll be easier for you guys and girls to fill everything in. This you can think of as your review packet. If you can do these problems, the next quiz you have is going to be very easy. FYI, the next quiz is worth 72 points. That's a lot of points. But it should be easy because all it is going to be these problems, just different numbers, different scenarios. So I can promise you that. Last year, the classes did really well with it, and we used this packet to review. Okay? We are going to do 2 in class together. I want to start with number 3. So let's look at scenario or number 3. We're going to do 2 in class together, and then I'm going to give you some time to work on your homework problems, which is just to make sure that you know what you're doing. So you should have 15 or 20 minutes to work on that. So let's start with number 3. In your white packet, number 3 says, Lindsay has $10 and loses 25 cents every hour. So who can tell us what does X represent in this scenario? Trevor. Good. Who can tell us what Y represents? Jackie. Good. Dollars or money. I always abbreviate. So let me just slow down for 1 second there. So X is hour, Y is money. Let's now jump to letter G. And again, these should be in order, but let's go to letter G. Let's write that in slope-intercept form. So who can tell us if Lindsay has $10 and loses a quarter every hour, how do we write that in slope-intercept form? I really should see all of your hands up. This is really easy. Michaela? Good. Y equals negative 1/4 X plus 10. Anyone have questions on where that 1/4 comes from or how to set that up? No, well, you can initially, but remember, always write slope as a fraction. So if you initially have y equals negative 0.25x plus 10, just make sure you convert 0.25 to a fraction. So you can use your calculator, 0.25, math, enter, enter, and it will convert it for you. Okay, anyone else have questions? Okay, let's go back up to letter C. So we need to write slope. Brett, what is the first thing we need to write for slope? Awesome. Change of y over change of x. TJ, what's the second thing? Good. Change of money over change of hour. And who can tell us the third part of slope? We've been doing this for a while. How about, here's a hint, a number over a number, but you need to have the words by it. Jackie? Good. Negative $1 over 4 hours. So just make sure you have the negative in front. Make sure you have the dollar symbol. Okay? Okay, what is the slope? So letter D, all you need to write down is the number, the fraction. So what is the slope? Letter D, you're just writing down the slope as a number or a fraction, however you want to say it. Okay, what is the y-intercept? So just as a regular ordered pair, Michael, what's the y-intercept? 0. Good. 0, 10. Always write it as an ordered pair. In terms of this scenario, what does the y-intercept represent? So there's 2 ways that you can do it. Anyone want to try to tell us one way? What does this represent? What does it mean? So in other words, how do you put labels on that? Does that give you a hint? 0 what? 10 what? You guys tired? Lyra? Good job. At hour 0, so 0 hours, Lindsay has $10. Now that's writing it as an ordered pair with labels. At hour 0, she has $10. You may also write out as a statement, at hour 0, Lindsay has $10. So you may either explain it in your own words or write it like that. I don't care. Either way is fine. Okay, let's now go down to graphing. Okay, we need to label, so we have hour is X, money is Y. If you do not label the axes, that's -1 on the quiz. Please make sure you label what X and Y are. I'm going to rewrite the slope-intercept equation above, so let's graph. And we already listed that M is -1/4, B is 0, 10. So George, where do we start with graphing? Good, so we're going to start at 10. So 10's right here. What do we do next? So once we have 10, how do we get to the next point? Chloe? Good, down 1 to the right 4. Down 1 to the right 4, and you could keep going. Even though we can't really get to the opposite point, how would you get the opposite point? Up 1 and then what? Left 4. So up 1 to left 4 would be somewhere over here. So there's our graph. So it's a decreasing function because the slope is negative. One more thing we need to do is put this in standard form. So first thing we need to do to get this in standard form is add 1/4 x to both sides. So we have 1/4 x plus y equals 0. And then Madison, how do we get rid of the fraction? Good job. Multiply the whole thing by 4. So who can tell us what standard form would be? What is standard form of this one? I know you guys all know. Are you guys really tired today? Yeah, I am too. Fridays sometimes are tiring. Rachel, you want to try? Good. X plus 4y equals 0. So there's your standard form. Oops, I'm sorry. That should have been a 10. My fault. Rachel, you were right the way I had it written. I don't know why I wrote 0. Sorry. Equals 40. That was a 10, not a 0. So underneath yours, where the line is for standard form, you should have x plus 4y equals 40. Any questions on how to get that? Okay, let's go to number 11. This is the last one we're going to do together for today. Okay, number 11 is different. Instead of giving you a scenario, they now give us an equation in standard form. So the first thing you need to do is put this into slope-intercept form. So just like Miss Wingrove did, I want you guys to make sure that you're circling y. We need to get y by itself. So Jack, what's the first thing we need to move to get y by itself? Good job. Step 1 is subtract 2x on both sides. So we have 4y equals -2x plus 20. So subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to make sure that I keep circling the y. Ryan, how do we get rid of the 4? Good. Good. So now we need to divide everything by 4. Sally, what's our slope-intercept form equation going to be? Good job. Y equals -1/2 x plus 5. So last class is getting a little more creative with their scenarios. Anyone want to try to give us a scenario for that equation? Something kind of interesting? Anyone have any? Okay, how about any kind of scenario? It could be something boring. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. All right, Lauren, do you have one? No? I didn't know if I was hand. Do you? Is it interesting? Okay, you don't have to give it if you don't want to. Go ahead. Okay, Lauren has $5 and you need to keep it like this. Loses $1 every 2 weeks, did you say? Okay, make sure you need to, because it's 1/2. You need to keep it as a fraction. Do not change it back to a decimal. So I'll say that again. If your slope is a fraction, you need to make sure that your rate of change is, like in this one, loses $1 every 2 weeks. Don't say loses 50 cents every 1 day. I know it's the same thing, but you need to make sure that you keep it as a fraction. Lauren, does that make sense? Okay. Mine was about toys. I said my niece in Florida has 5 toys and sells 1 every 2 days. That's not very interesting either. Does anyone have anything else that was interesting? No? All right, let's use this one then. Brett, go ahead. Oh, jeez. You don't mean to get fired. Brett. Okay, if you guys didn't hear Brett, he said the school has 5 math teachers and fires 1 every 2 years, did you say? Okay. That's probably kind of true. Not fired, but at least retired because of all the budget cuts. A lot of them retired last year. So that could kind of be true. All right, let's go to what does X mean in this scenario? So in Lauren's scenario, Claire, what's X? Good, weeks. Nicolette, what's Y? Good, dollars or money. Slope, the first part is change of Y over change of X. John, what is the second part of slope? And I know this is your favorite. I'm kidding. Good job. Change of dollar over change of week. And Trevor, what's the last part of slope? Good. Negative $1 over 2 weeks. Please make sure you have all 3 things for slope. Okay, and then what is slope? For letter E, all you're doing is writing negative 1 over 2. Jack, what is the y-intercept as an ordered pair? Good, 0,5. Michaela, with labels, what is the y-intercept? With labels. Zero week. Yep, it's always X. Week is X. Well, 5. We're doing y-intercept. Are you on the right problem? Okay. Okay, so at week 0, Lauren has $5. So again, you can write that as a statement or as an ordered pair with labels. At week 0, she has $5. Okay, let's graph. So let's label the graph first. X is week, Y is dollars. The equation here was Y equals negative 1/2 X plus 5. Tessa, where do we start when we're graphing? Good, 0, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your starting point is at 0, 5. And TJ, now what? How do we get our next point? Good, down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Marion, how do we get the opposite point? So over here. Good, up 1 to the left 2. Up 1 to the left 2. Connect your points. It's a decreasing function because Lauren's losing $1 every 2 weeks somehow. So there it is. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs down on those 2 problems. And okay, give me a head nod. Were these much easier than that practice quiz you took yesterday? Okay. I know some of those were a little more abstract and you really had to explain it. Yeah, I know some of them were hard. We went over them a little bit today. We're going to keep going over those types of questions because you will see them again on your pop quiz next week. So just make sure that you're going over those. Chloe, can you wait 1 second here? Okay, here's what you're going to work on in class, and what you don't finish is homework. So classwork/homework. Numbers 1, 2, 6, 7, 12, and 13. So 1, 2, 6, 7, 12, and 13. There are 2 of each type. So let me stop this recording. I'm going to walk around and check